Imagine that you had a way to guarantee that you would keep any promise you made to yourself. If you promised to exercise a certain amount, or even eat a certain way, or if you're to make some calls to some people. Imagine the power that you would have in your life if you could guarantee the consistency in keeping those promises. So this is something I invented for myself and ultimately for my clients back in 1986. It's a technique I call Consider It Done. I'm just going to be able to give you the outline of this technique so you get a sense of the power of it. But you probably want to send me an email, and I'll send you by attachment the full description of this technique. Of course, it's also outlined fully in my book on courage. But this is how it works. It's got 3 different cornerstones. First cornerstone is setting up a prudent promise. And a prudent promise means a promise that under normal and accepted background conditions, it's always within your control to do. So you wouldn't make a promise to make 1 new sale a day, but you could make a promise to dial the phone for 10 new numbers a day, 10 numbers a day. But an exercise promise, like, okay, I promise that I'll do 20 minutes of this type of exercise Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's as long as you've got the times that you can set aside for that, that's a prudent promise, right? That you can do under normal and accepted background conditions. So that's cornerstone number 1. Cornerstone number 2 is where it gets interesting. You design a consequence that you attach to your promise. And the purpose of the consequence is not to do the consequence, it's to guarantee the promise. And you want to choose a consequence that you're willing to do if you should incur it, but it's big enough and bad enough so that you definitely want to avoid it. So, for example, take a 1-minute cold shower, or eat some dog food, or something like that. Something that you definitely not want to do, but you're willing to do. And so the way you design the consequence, you imagine a situation where you really maybe don't want to do that 20 minutes of exercise. And then ask yourself, is the consequence big enough so that knowing that I have to satisfy it within 2 days if I incur it, that I'll then say to myself, oh, I think I'll just do my agreement. So that's cornerstone number 2. Cornerstone number 3 is you need to work with an accountability partner. So find a friend or a colleague that you respect and trust and know that they're going to be able to maintain some rigor with you, and you make a daily report to them. It can be by email or text mail, or it could be even verbally, but email or text message might be best, where you basically send them each day and say, please celebrate with me that I kept this many out of this many agreements, like 5 out of 5 or 6 out of 6. Unless you didn't, you might say, please celebrate, I kept 4 out of 5. The one I didn't keep was my exercise agreement. The consequence for that is a 1-minute cold shower. I'll be taking that tomorrow, and when I report for tomorrow, I'll let you know that I've done that. And so this is a daily report. So it's not just you're not just making the promises yourself, you're also making to the other person, and you're allowing them to hold you accountable for that. Of course, you have to rely on that if they don't get your message by a certain time that you agree upon each day, that they're going to get back to you and keep the system going. And you usually want to set up something called a non-report consequence, so that you have to give them, say, $10 if you didn't report as agreed. So this stimulates you to make your daily report. Now, there are 2 other features that you want to maybe consider. Is on occasion there may be an emergency you need to declare, or an opportunity you need to declare. For example, if you sprained your ankle, then for the duration until your ankle was in good shape, you declare an emergency on not keeping your exercise agreement. and then there will be no consequence for that. I've given you the real quick general outline, but I've kept statistics on my clients who work with this system, and as a general rule, they keep like about 98.7% of all the agreements they make in this way. So send me an email if you'd like to get all the full details that you'll need to get this started for yourself. And it's an amazing system that can make a big difference in your life. Thank you.